Hey guys, welcome back to the Jay's Flicks podcast. I'm your host Jay, and today we're going to be talking about the Warner Brothers deal and the whole Netflix situation that's been going on, and just kind of want to give you guys like some info as to what's really happening here and why, if Warner Brothers is bought out by Netflix completely, this is going to be a very bad thing. Not just for the Warner Brothers company, but just for movie theaters in general. Like, I mean, just marketing, merchandising, all this type of stuff. So let's get into it. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you have not already subscribed here to Jay's Flicks here on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok as well and Instagram, Jay's Flicks 23 to get more content. But here we are, right? So what happened is Netflix put out an $82.5 billion deal, something around that range, to purchase the Warner Brothers company, Warner Brothers Discovery, right? So that's, if you are familiar with Warner Brothers, which I'm sure everybody here is, right? I mean, this is Scooby Doo, DC, I mean, Looney Tunes, lots of stuff. Really old company, like going back maybe 100 years or so, right? This is a very old company, and they've put out some great stuff over the years, and Netflix put out a bid to buy them. Now, the deal had not been completely officially set yet, but Netflix is confident that they'll be able to close in on this deal with Warner Brothers and purchase them. And the problem with that is, if it happens, you're talking about Netflix, who is a company, and I found this out the other day, they're actually richer than Disney. And I thought Disney was like the richest company, in the world. They're not. Netflix is actually, like, as far as earnings, they come in higher with that, and Netflix, their streaming has been, they've lost a little bit of value there. So right now they're looking for something to perk that up, right? The problem with that is, if they're able to buy Warner Brothers has accounted for a lot of really good movies over the years. I mean, just to think back recently, the last couple of months, you're talking about Sinners, you're talking about the Minecraft movie, you're talking about, some of the Blumhouse. No, that's Universal. Never mind. But yeah, Sinners, Minecraft movie are two movies that come to mind. And like just lots of other DC, for instance. Yeah, Superman, the latest DC project to come out, a couple months ago in the summer. So just all these things, and I feel like Warner Brothers accounts for a lot of the percentage of movies that release in movie theaters, especially lately with how DC is starting to get their universe back up, right? And Looney Tunes has been kind of making some movies here and there the past couple of years and putting them out in movie theaters. So if Netflix decides to buy, if they buy Warner Brothers and that deal is sealed, then you're talking about that potentially being taken away, and movie theaters losing a lot of business, already more than what they have been losing. And that's not good as a consumer, because I feel like there are things that you have to go to the movies and see. Like Sinners was a movie that I was not going to go watch. I'm not going to watch it at home. And that's a movie that when it came out in the movie theaters, that you got to go see that in a packed auditorium, like, with your snacks and everything. Like, that was a really good film. And I think that's an experience that you got to have inside of a theater. Like, you can talk about movies like that, movies like Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, movies like just your big breaker films, heck, just so many. You go on the list. Those are the type of films that you want to experience with other people in a theater. Now, granted, ticket prices have rose over the years, concession prices have rose over the years, so some people are straying away from movies, but I don't think that the movie theater business is completely gone under. But if this deal happens, then it potentially could. Now, my friend shared this with me a little while ago, and he sent me that while Netflix came in with that $82 billion offer, Paramount walked in with a $108.4 billion all cash bid to buy out Warner Brothers. So they already had that preliminary deal with Netflix. Warner Brothers did, but now they got to look over both offers from Paramount and from Netflix and decide which one creates more value for the shareholders, and so you're looking at the upfront price, the long-term risk, and if those regulators will even let a merger this big happen, right? So those are all the things. and Netflix can still match that offer if they so choose to. But this is gonna be something to definitely monitor. I definitely thought that this was already set in stone, but it isn't. So now Warner Brothers can kind of sit back and really evaluate both of these bids put out by both Netflix and Paramount and decide which one would be the better fit for them. Personally, I prefer Paramount. Paramount is a company that I think they would take better care of Warner Brothers properties than Netflix would. We know Netflix tends to be hit or miss with a lot of their stuff that they make. Where shows or movies is either going to be really, really good or it's going to be atrocious, and that's just how it is. Something could be Stranger Things, or something could be, like I don't know, the worst Netflix project you could think of, and that's what it could be. It's no in between. There's no really a gray area right there. So it's either one or the other, and that's how it is. And unfortunately, that's just where we are right now. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Now, I think if Paramount were to buy out Warner Brothers, this Paramount, if you're not familiar, they own Nickelodeon properties like, SpongeBob, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Very Loud Parents, all that stuff. They they produce a lot more shows and movies over the years. So that's a company I would much rather trust. With something like Warner Brothers and all of its intellectual properties than something like Netflix. Just so you guys are kind of informed of what's going on. We're kind of at that still at the moment. So no official deals have been closed yet as of right now. Like I reiterated, Warner Brothers still has the opportunity to weigh both decisions here, both of the offers put out by Netflix and Paramount. So I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about it? I really just, we got something like with all those different properties like Warner Brothers has that's been so successful over the years. Like, and it's just, if you let it get into the hands of something like Netflix, they can really ruin it. And so that's why I'm hoping, and I think like Paramount probably I think they favor the consumers a little bit more in this scenario, and they actually would, like, they would put movies out in theaters, right? As opposed to Netflix, like they're not gonna, if they buy them out, they're not gonna put in the movies that they make like out in theaters. So that means if you're a DC fan, that means like if you want to see, Superman, or like more of the Superman movies or whatever more DC projects they put out, like all that would most likely be on Netflix. So you won't be able to go to movie theaters and see it. That's not good. That's not good. So hopefully it doesn't happen. We'll see. We'll monitor it. But I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know about it. So that's that. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button here on Jay's Flicks. Check us out. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, Jay's Flicks 23. And we'll see you next time on the show.